if we find the flood tunnel, we follow that up, it should be a direct line to X marks the spot. And that's my hope, that ultimately we solve this mystery for all the people that have come before us looking for answers.
What exactly is hidden beneath the land of Oak Island? Something that people have been searching for more than 200 years. In Season 13, the story once again seems to reach a point where a secret chamber, old clues, and the mystery of Templar gold appear to be connected. Think about it. If there really is a hidden chamber underground, one that was deliberately concealed centuries ago, what could be inside it? Gold, ancient documents, or perhaps some evidence whose value cannot be measured only in money. Many clues bring up stories connected to thousands of years of history, and according to some estimates, the treasure hidden here could be worth millions of dollars. But the real question still remains the same. Could Oak Island's biggest mystery finally be about to be revealed? What is most surprising about this search is the way one clue after another keeps appearing. And believe me, the connection that comes forward at the end of the story could completely change the whole picture. So make sure you watch the video until the very end, because the final reveal could be the biggest answer to this entire mystery. Before this search leaves you amazed, make sure you subscribe. Think about it. A small island, a mysterious pit beneath the ground, and the search for an unknown secret hidden inside it. It sounds like the story of a movie, but the story of Oak Island has been confusing people in exactly this way for more than 200 years. The place is most famous for the money pit. It is said that in 1795, some people noticed strange marks on the ground here, and when they started digging, they found layers of wood and structures underneath that made them suspect something might have been deliberately hidden underground. After that began a search in which many people spent their time, money, and even their entire lives. Excavations were carried out again and again, investigations were done in new locations, but every time, the mystery only became deeper. Sometimes water blocked the way, sometimes the digging turned out to be useless, and sometimes, after finding a small clue, hope came alive once again. And the biggest question still remains today. If something really was hidden here, then what exactly was it? Is this simply a story about gold and some old treasure? Or is there a chamber or documents hidden beneath the ground that could bring a forgotten part of history to light? Now, the clues coming forward in Season 13 have once again brought this old mystery into the spotlight. But there is one thing that is important to understand here. Not every clue is proof of treasure. The real story lies in connecting these clues to one another. So what exactly have people been searching for on Oak Island for all these years? Is there really a secret chamber beneath the ground? And if there is, what could be inside it? But to understand this mystery, we need to go back not to today, but to the very beginning of this place. Now let's take the story back. The year was 1795. At that time, Oak Island was not famous for any big mystery like it is today. It was simply a quiet island where people would occasionally come and go. But it was here that something was noticed, something that would later attract hundreds of people to this place. According to the story, 3 young men noticed a strange depression, meaning a sunken area, in the ground at one part of the island. At first, it did not seem like a very big deal, but it definitely raised a question in their minds. After all, why was this part of the ground different from the rest? After this, they decided to start digging there. As the soil was removed, things started becoming a little strange. They began to see layers of wood underneath. After one layer was removed, another wooden structure was reportedly found some distance below. Now the question was, who could have placed wood so far beneath the ground? If this was just a natural pit, then why were such layers found there? As the digging continued, another problem appeared. Suddenly, the pit started filling with water. The more they tried to remove the water, the more difficult things became. This made people even more suspicious that perhaps there was some kind of passage or arrangement underground through which water was entering. This is where the real mystery of Oak Island began. Because now, it was no longer just about a pit found in the ground. The wooden layers, the depth, and the sudden water coming in. All of these together were raising one question. Had someone really made some kind of special arrangement underground to hide something here? And if that was the case, then what exactly was hidden that required so much effort? But if it was just an ordinary treasure, then why would the person hiding it create such a complicated arrangement? Until now, the story was about a pit, layers of wood and water suddenly filling it. But as the investigation of Oak Island moved forward, another interesting question came up. Was there only a pit underground? Or had a complete passage and even chamber-like structures also been built inside it? Old searches and later excavations brought reports of underground tunnels and wooden structures. The events connected to the water especially caught people's attention. When the diggers went down, water would often block their way. Because of this, a theory was born that perhaps seawater was somehow being brought to that location through underground passages. Now, one thing is very important to understand here. The things recorded in history are one thing, but directly accepting the theories that came from them as the truth is something different. Because if there really was a chamber or a secure place built underground, then what was its purpose? Was gold kept there, an old treasure, or perhaps documents and items that, for some specific reason, needed to be kept hidden from the world? Some theories have also suggested that whatever was hidden may have been kept safely quite deep underground. But there is still no solid agreement about the exact depth or what was actually inside. And this is the most interesting thing about Oak Island. The more people search for its answer, the more questions appear. If a person or group really wanted to hide something here, then why did they create such a complicated system? And most importantly, what were they afraid of? This is where the story becomes much more interesting than just a simple buried treasure story. Because some theories connected to Oak Island point toward a name that has been associated with hidden treasures and mysteries for centuries. That name is the Templars. And if there is even a little truth in these theories, then the mystery of Oak Island could be much older than we think. Now the story reaches the name that made the mystery of Oak Island even more exciting: Knights Templar. But first, it is important to understand who exactly the Templars were. The Knights Templar were a medieval Christian military organization that came into existence around the 12th century. Over time, this organization became quite powerful and wealthy. They had land, money, and many kinds of property. But at the beginning of the 14th century, action was taken against them, and the organization slowly came to an end. This is where many stories about their treasure began. It is said that before the organization came to an end, some of their wealth or important belongings had disappeared. But here again, the same question comes up. Was some major treasure really hidden somewhere? And if it was hidden, then where exactly? This is where some people started connecting Oak Island with the Templars. The theory says that perhaps some Templars leaving Europe, or people connected to them, may have reached North America by sea at some point and brought valuable items, documents, or treasure with them. After that, those items may have been hidden in a safe place. And looking at the story of the underground structures and the money pit on Oak Island, some people felt that perhaps this could be the place holding the answer to the mystery. The story sounds quite interesting. But this is where we need to stop. Because a direct and solid historical connection between the Templars and Oak Island is still a big question today. There is no decisive evidence that can clearly prove that the underground structure found on Oak Island was built by the Templars or that their treasure is present here. So, on one side, we have history, and on the other side, we have theories that came from it. And perhaps this is exactly what makes this story so interesting. Is Oak Island really the hiding place of Templar treasure? Or are we connecting different clues and creating a story that sounds like the truth? For now, the answer is not clear. But the Templar theory definitely did one thing. It drew even more attention toward Oak Island. And after this, when reports of some more mysterious clues on the island came forward, the hopes of treasure hunters came alive once again. Because perhaps the real answer was not hidden in some old treasure, but in those clues, which had remained away from people's eyes until now. Until now, we have heard about many theories connected to Oak Island. But the real investigation of any mystery does not happen only through stories. The real question is, What evidence do we have? The story of Oak Island also mentions old documents, maps, and different records. Some people have tried to find signs in these old documents that could be connected to the underground structures and hidden treasure on the island. Apart from this, claims about some symbols and inscriptions have also continued to come forward. Looking at some of these marks, people have guessed that perhaps they point toward an old message or a specific location. But here too, caution is necessary. Not every old mark is a treasure map, and just by looking at every document, we cannot say that it shows the way to a hidden chamber. There are some clues whose interpretation has different opinions, while some claims are also said to lack solid evidence. This is why an interesting approach is used in the investigation of Oak Island. Old clues are not looked at alone, but an attempt is made to understand them by connecting them with other clues. Suppose an old record gives a clue about a particular location, and in that same area, there is a possibility of an underground structure. When both things are looked at together, a new theory can be formed. But the difference between theory and proof matters the most here. Modern technology has certainly changed the way this old mystery is being looked at. Where earlier people depended only on digging and signs found with their own eyes, modern investigation techniques can now be used to understand structures beneath the ground. And this is the point where Oak Island's nearly 200-year-old story and modern investigation come together. Old documents raise some questions, underground structures provide some more clues, and modern technology gives us a chance to look at all of this from a new perspective. But when all these clues are connected, does it really lead to a hidden chamber? This was the question that was about to become the most interesting. Now, the story of Oak Island had reached a stage where simply digging with shovels and by hand was no longer enough to understand the mystery beneath the ground. To find the answer to this nearly 200-year-old question, modern technology began to be used. Today, before starting an excavation at any location, it is important to understand what is actually present underneath. This is why techniques such as drilling and boreholes are used at different locations. Through samples taken from inside the ground and different investigations, attempts are made to find out what kinds of soil layers are underneath and whether any unusual structure is present. But on Oak Island, the biggest problem from the beginning has been water. As the depth increases in some areas, water can make the investigation difficult, so the team does not only have to ask where to dig, but also has to look at which location can provide the most information while keeping the risk low. This is why the possibility of finding a potential empty space or void underground becomes very interesting in itself. If scanning or drilling gives an indication of some unusual space, the next question is, could this really be a chamber built by humans, an old tunnel, or simply a natural space formed underground? This is where the old story and modern technology appear to connect with each other. In 1795, people noticed a strange area on the ground. After that, many generations dug beneath it. Now, modern investigations are trying to understand the things hidden inside that same ground in a different way. But suppose an investigation really does find a possible chamber. Even then, opening it immediately would not be that easy. Because if the place is very deep, old, or surrounded by water, going inside could be risky in itself. Drilling in the wrong place could also damage an old structure. That is why every next step has to be decided carefully. Where the drilling will take place, where a sample will be taken, and based on which clue the next excavation will be carried out. And this is where the suspense becomes the strongest. Because finding an empty space underground is not in itself proof that treasure has been found. But if that empty space also starts connecting with old clues, underground structures, and the other clues, then the question certainly becomes bigger. What exactly is hidden beneath that darkness? And perhaps this is the biggest question of the entire Oak Island story. Until now, we have been talking about the possibilities hidden beneath Oak Island. But if one day a real treasure is actually found there, then the first question would probably be, how much would it be worth? The value of gold can be calculated based on its weight and the market price at that time. If a large amount of gold is found there, its monetary value could be worth millions of dollars, or even more. But in the case of Oak Island, one thing is very interesting. Perhaps the real value of whatever is hidden there cannot be decided by gold alone. Suppose a document that is hundreds of years old is found underground. At first, it may look like just a piece of paper, but if it contains important information connected to an old organization, journey, or historical event, then its value cannot be measured only in money. In the same way, if an ancient artifact is found, its archaeological and historical importance could be very great, especially if it is connected to a time or civilization about which there are still many questions in history. And if an artifact is ever found that can be connected to the Templar era with proper evidence, then its importance could become even greater. Because then the question will not only be about how much money the object is worth, but what untold story of history it could reveal. This is why the historical value of a small artifact can sometimes be more important than millions of dollars worth of gold. It is possible that the most valuable thing beneath Oak Island is not gold at all. The real treasure could be an old document, a symbol, or an object that could help us understand a lost chapter of history. And this is what makes this entire search even more interesting. But now the biggest question is in front of us. In Season 13, do the signs and underground structures being discussed really show a way to a secret chamber? Or are we once again following clues whose answer is still hidden several feet beneath the ground? Now the story is about to reach its most important point. Now, let's look back at the entire story once again. In 1795, a strange area appeared on the ground, and then the excavation of the money pit began. After that, reports of wooden layers and structures beneath the ground came forward. The repeated blocking of the way by water during the digging and the theories about underground tunnels made this mystery even deeper. Then the story reached the Templars. Some theories claimed that perhaps centuries ago, some valuable items or documents were brought here by sea and hidden beneath the ground. After this, old maps, documents, and alleged symbols also started being connected to this mystery. And now, after so many years, modern technology is being used to try to understand the structures and possible empty spaces present beneath that same ground. So the question is, are all these clues pointing toward the same story? Is there really a secret chamber beneath the ground? And if there is, could it contain the same thing that people have been searching for over generations? The most important thing here is that finding a possible underground void or structure is not, by itself, proof that treasure has been found. An empty space beneath the ground could also be natural. It could also be part of an old excavation. And simply connecting an old document or symbol to a theory does not prove that the theory is true. So today, we certainly have some interesting clues in front of us, but the answer to every clue is still not clear. And this is the biggest specialty of Oak Island. Every time, it seems that perhaps the mystery is finally about to be revealed. But as soon as one answer comes closer, a new question appears behind it. And perhaps this is why, even after more than 200 years, people are still so curious about this place. Because there could be gold beneath the ground. There could be an old artifact. There could be a document. And it is also possible that the story behind the chamber theory that sounds so exciting could be completely different. But if that place is ever truly opened, and evidence is found there that connects these old clues with one another, then the story of Oak Island could change forever. Perhaps Oak Island's biggest mystery is not how much gold is hidden here, but who hid something here, why they hid it, and what exactly they worked so hard to hide beneath the ground. And if this chamber really opens in the future, then Oak Island's 200-year-old story may finally reach its biggest answer for the first time. But before reaching that answer, for more such mysterious and history-related stories, make sure to subscribe to the channel.